Welcome, punters. Merry Christmas. 2 days' time, we get to open our presents on Derby Day. Can't wait. As always, I'm joined by Matty. How are you, Matty?
I am well, Worm. How are you, mate?
Yeah, ripper, mate. 4-day carnival. You get a headache after Champions Weekend, but no, I can't wait to get cracking, mate. It's a interesting card.
Absolutely interesting card. Looking forward to switching between Sky, Channel 10 and Channel 7.
Mate, don't put yourself through Channel 10, please. Unless you know someone working for them or you got some interest, mate, just stay off Channel 10. It is toxic. If it's anything like last year, Channel 7 rated better than Channel 10 last year.
Yeah, okay. Does not surprise me. Mate, I almost missed the Melbourne Cup because I was on Channel 7. Anyway, how'd you go, Cox Plate Day?
Mate, we had a ripper time out at the Valley. It's always good, Cox Plate. It's never disappoints. Win, lose, draw. It's always a great day out. You?
Absolutely. Look, from a racing point of view, hats off to the club because the best horses, the best jockeys, they got their opportunities. They were coming from last, they were coming from midfield, and there were even a few that led all the way. So, in terms of racing, I think the best horses they got their opportunity, and I think the punters enjoyed it.
Yeah, 100%. Even the streamers going off for Mr. Brightside when it crossed the Cox Plate.
Yes, yes. I thought Brightside had got there.
I was in the same boat, mate. But geez, I had to laugh on Monday when I heard about it. I'm like, oh, the poor bastard that's pulled the trigger. It would have
Yeah.
been good for the atmosphere and the song and everything. Even feel for the owners and trainers, mate. They celebrated like they won too.
Oh, the Hayes boys. I
Feel
do
for
feel
'em.
for them.
Yeah, it's a feeling we'll never have, I don't reckon. But nah, bad luck. Romantic Warrior. Geez, it was good to see, mate, wasn't it?
100%. Look, I think was the best horse in the race, but I'll tell you what, really good for Australian racing. Having Brightside, Alligator Blood, even Duas, I thought Fangirl was a little bit unlucky. The stocks within that middle distance isn't too bad. Like, really, you've got the best of the Hong Kong horses who has gone and beaten a lot of the Japanese
Hmm.
absolute wonder horses. And
Yep.
then to come down to Australia, yes, it is quite difficult. But Mr. Brightside and Alligator Blood took it right up to Romantic Warrior, and that was fantastic to see.
Yeah, you could run that race 10 times, and I reckon we'd get 8 different results.
Yeah, yeah. And again, like in that specific race, hats off to the jockeys because I thought they all did a sensational job. Alligator Blood and also Mr. Brightside, they were just trying to get that 2,040 metres. I thought they rode both of those horses exceptionally well. Just ran into the superstar.
Yeah, 100%. It never disappoints the Cox Plate, no matter what result it is. A lot of people saying, was it a good Cox Plate? Wasn't it? Because it was a bunch finish, but maybe it was just, I think it was just a really, really good Cox Plate, and a bunch finish was well deserved because it was such an even field. Like, even if you took Romantic Warrior out of it, well, anything could have won it.
Yeah, look, you look at the sectionals, and they ran a really good time. But you also need to remember that the track was in quite a fast condition. So you take out some of that benefit, and you probably find that it was a middle of the road Cox Plate. However, all of the horses were very much of the same quality. I think you only had three that fell away. Outside of that, they were all within 2 lengths of each other.
Did they beat the ambulance home?
I don't think yours did.
Oh,
No, I think who was it? Pinstripes, Oberon, and
Pelican.
King Colorado.
Yeah. Yeah. It's no, it was a ripper race.
Mm.
Kudos to you, Matty. Futures lobs. So if you combined our two bets, I think it was spent 200 definitely and returned just over 500. Um, I think we've just got to blow our own trumpet here because it is so hard to do, and we somehow got it right and we got something out of it. I hope listeners got more out of it than we did, because we'll probably do this another 10 times and probably get 9 wrong. It's that hard, but it's good to get a result. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what. I think the hardest thing is, especially doing it that far out, trying to get a few runners at some decent odds, and you managed to do that in the Caulfield Cup. So exceptionally well done. I mean, realistically, the favourite, who was the favourite a long way out, ended up winning the Cox Plate. So there wasn't too much in terms of longer term value, but it definitely piques the interest in terms of watching these horses progress a good 6 weeks out from these races.
I think if you can get fives and it's into 320 come race time, mate, I think that's better shopping than what I did. If you look at the percentages. But hey,
We'll
so
take it.
listeners, if you got something out of it, please let us know. We'd love to hear the feedback. This episode, we're going to do a race by race for Derby Day, just to dissect most races. Quick 5-minute talk about them. Because, we've got various opinions this week. So we thought we'd give both of our opinions. Bets around the grounds, as always. The multi, Matty, that was you.
The horse that is running in the Derby, Bellaweo. He's paying, what, $15 a place and ended up running fourth.
Yeah, we won't tell them about our pre-production multi, but anyway, we'll move on. And Pineapple of the Week, it was Goodbye Wishful Lass, mate. Never looked in trouble.
I'll tell you what, I don't think it mattered which horse I actually picked for the Pineapple last week. They all would have lobbed.
Yes. If you saw us walking out of the track on a Saturday, I think everyone knew we had a good day. I think even Jared Waitley got a bit of a shout out when I was going past him. But yeah, well done, mate. We go again. I'll be interested to see how you get something this week because, it's tough, but we'll go through it. Guys, if you subscribe to our YouTube channel or any podcast platform, please do. If you're a first-time listener or watcher, hope you enjoy the show. Please subscribe. Click the subscribe button on YouTube or your podcast platform. If we find you plenty of winners or any way that you enjoy the show, please rate us on Spotify as a goodwill gesture. Everything we do is free, no hidden paywalls. We do it for the love of it. So as appreciation, please have it over to Spotify. Rate us out of 5. Any stars will do. We just want to grow our audience, and it's growing each and every week. So if you're a first-time watcher, listener, welcome aboard. Hope you enjoy it. WhatsApp, we run a little community, which is everyone's community, basically, where Matty and I share our thoughts, and more importantly, you get to share your thoughts. So if you want to be part of the WhatsApp community, please DM one of us. We'll put you straight through. Numbers are growing each and every week. So welcome to all the new players and welcome aboard. I lost what I was going to say.
One of our community members has just shared a pending multi that's going to be in its final stages this weekend. $770, threw $20 on it for an estimated return of $16,000, if you don't mind. So good luck to that particular community member.
I don't think he's going to like the podcast.
Oh. Anyway, that's what happens with futures.
That's it. No. And will you just share your thoughts, guys? Like plenty of people share their thoughts, their knowledge. It's just a community. Working off each other, sharing each and other's thoughts. So get involved if you want to be a sicko like us. I think one of the guys put out a esports bet the other day. And that was a first, and it was a good laugh and good banter.
Did it lob?
I don't know. I'll have to find out. So if you're listening, Jesto, can you please let us know if it lobbed for our sanity, please? I should check my multis, but I can't find it. All right, track stats. Interesting. I've got 2. Obviously, there's Sydney and Melbourne. Flemington Rail True, nice weather all week. Track should present the best it's ever been. Beautifully, should play the same beautifully and even. I think it'll be only dictated by the tempo. There is a southerly across in the home straight, so inside barriers down the straight might be at a slight disadvantage. I think there's speeds up to about 28 kilometers, but just keep an eye on those inside barriers down the straight. My personal thoughts is I'll be I'll be taking on horses that are going to try and lead all the way in the corner races. And down the straight, I'll be looking for horses up on speed because some reason they sit up and it's a sprint home. So, yeah. Rose Hill, talking to someone just before about the conditions up there, predicting 1 to 15 mil between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. He was saying the track is absolutely bone dry. So if they get it, it won't affect it too much. But he said if they don't get it, it is going to be like a absolute freeway, quick and fast. So keep an eye on it. If the rain arrives, he reckons soft 6 at worst because he said it was absolutely bone dry. So thank you to him. All right, Matty, races. We've got 9 of the best. Flemington. We'll kick things off here. Race 1, 1600 Group 3, 3-year-olds, the Carbine Club.
Carbine Club, what a club to be part of. Mates, got 3 here that I can probably throw a blanket over, and they're the 3 at the top of the page: Brave Mead, He-Man, and Kai Zad. Now, in terms of Brave Mead, it's been up for a little while, but been exceptional. So it'd be interesting to see Jamie Spencer on board, which is quite interesting. Worm, I'll get your thoughts on Mark Zara hopping off and heading across to He-Man, if the punters should be looking any further into that. For me, Worm, though, due to the fact that I can throw a blanket over all 3 of them, I'm going to be with Tim Clark and Kai Zad at around about that $9.50, $10 mark. The other one worth mentioning is Influential, who won a maiden up in Sydney. The Waller and also James McDonald combination there. Look, I couldn't have it with those other 3 just based on that run. However, I expect it will progress, and look, it doesn't probably need to improve too much to be in the mix here. But Worm, Kai Zad on top of He-Man and Brave Mead.
Yeah, this race normally is the Kickstarter of the carnival. This is where we punters really load up and we kick off with a bang. But geez, this is a tough way to start. I'm keen to take on Influential here. Waller second up, asking to take $4.20 after opening $2.80 for a horse that's coming off a maiden. Yes, went well, but the talent it was up against wasn't much. I find it hard to split Brave Mead, He-Man, and Critique, who are all very nice horses with some talent. So keen to jump on Betfair here for Influential and push the pink button. Don't look too much into Brave Mead and Mark Zara jumping off. Reports are ownership weren't happy with him ditching Gold Trip, so they booted him here. And then Mark Zara's blaming the ownership for some other reason. So it's, I think, just a miscommunication we'll put it down to. So if you like Brave Mead, don't be worried with Jamie Spencer on board. Good luck if you are taking Jamie Spencer. But yeah, tough way to start, but yeah, keen to really take on Influential in the first. Race 2, the Archer, 2,500 meters, the win, and you're in Melbourne Cup. Matty, take it.
Yeah, look, Calipour will do its thing. It'll run well. Nations. Be interested to see how that matches up to these here. The Worm, the 2 that I've landed on, Athabascan. I know you were heavily on, or what I say heavily on, you heavily liked this horse last start at the Valley and just couldn't get a run. So it on top of Mostly Cloudy. I think Mostly Cloudy will be quite tough to beat, but I think Athabascan can actually turn the tables on Mostly Cloudy and get the job done here. It is favourite around about that 240 mark, with Mostly Cloudy around about 550. Worm, how did you see this one?
Yeah, as you said, I was with Athabascan last start, was unlucky. Not much the jockey could do from barrier 1. I just thought it might have been good enough to get out and find a gap, but wasn't. I know a lot of people were blaming the jockey. Yeah, that's fine. It's an opinion game. They backed this horse late that was very interesting for me. I've got to be with it again. You've just got to trust what you saw and trust that I thought it was still going to win if it got out. Ladies Man brings New Zealand form around Mustang Valley, who went okay last week in the Crystal Mile. But down to the business, there's nothing out of this race I want to be taken into a Melbourne Cup, whoever wins. But pretty keen with Athabascan to win race 2. Race 3, the Group 3 mares over 1,100 metres.
Well, very interesting that Zapata has been scratched here. I was quite keen to take it in this race, but outside of that, Rose Quartz, it's got the runs on the board when it comes to Flemington down the straight, so definitely take that into consideration. However, I think the market already has around that $4 mark at the moment with Zapata in the race. It was kind of around that $6, $7, even $8 mark. So I think coming into fours, that's quite a heavy deduction for Rose Quartz. The two that I want to be with here, Worm, Red Card. Now, it just needs to find some of its Queensland Carnival form, and it will be way too good for these. However, its last few starts hasn't been able to replicate anything near that. Tim Clark on board, which I do like, sends a message to me that James Cummings thinks that this horse does have something to give here. So, Worm, I do have Red Card. I thought it was a lot more attractive around about that 10-11 mark with Zapateo in the field. And the other one is H2O, around about that $15 mark. I mentioned this one, I think it was last week or potentially the week before, when the Jollies bring a horse across, take notice. And it didn't get any chance last start. Linda Meach on board, I think, down the straight can really give this a bit of a shake at that double-digit price. So, Worm, Red Card on top of H2O.
Yeah, no real edge at this moment in this race. Really respect what you're saying with Red Card, though, mate. Now you're getting a price to find out, $6.60. Willingy Beast is something that's interested me here. Unlucky last start. Thought it could have been pushing the winners if it got any clear air. And they're asking you to take $16 now for that. So maybe an each way play on that for the early punters. Race 4 is a Group 3 over 1,200 metres.
Worm, Spacewalk down the straight. Keen to hear your thoughts on it. For me, there were a few that I was looking at here. Chain of Lightning, Spacewalk, Cest. I'll go with Maggie Q, and Triple Missile. They were kind of the four that I had in the market that I think it'll come down to within this race. And I did have Triple Missile on top. I think it's going to be exceptionally hard to beat. I did like its last start. James McDonald on board, barrier number 2. So it'll get its chance. If they do, they'll probably go into the middle. And James will be able to take a set and then make a decision on which way he needs to go. But for the value, it is the number 9, Cest Maggie Q, which we'll go with. I think at the $12 mark is quite a generous price. Again, with Tim Clark on board, I seem to be finding quite a few of Tim's rides here, so hoping he does have a decent day. But Worm, they're the two that took my fancy in this.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't talk much on Spacewalk here because I cannot take Spacewalk with stolen money. I know it's $5 the field here, but there is no price I will take on this horse. I just will lay this until it hurts. I think there's a few other horses in this race that can win. Triple Missile going well. Second up, J-Mac now jumps on board. I think the James Sahale jumped out really well. I think this can return back to form. I'd forget the last 2 starts, setting up brutal tempos. If it goes anywhere near its jump out, it can run a drum. It's our time. How can you forget that? It loves this straight race, and it's $12. Chain of Lightning, if it brings its goods. So I think there's a lot better horses in this race and keen to be with other than Spacewalk. Hit the pink button. Race 5, we have the Wakeful Stakes. Good lead up for the Oaks. Group 2, 2,000 metres. Matty.
Yeah, soft edition of the Wakeful Stakes. No real standouts for me. I know Zardozi is around that 250 mark at the moment. I can't touch Zardozi at that 250 mark. I know a lot of punters are having it as their best for the day at Flemington. I can't necessarily do that in this type of field. So for me, I was looking a little bit further down. And what I did see that I didn't mind was Amazon Lass. Again, Tim Clark on board, Gay Waterhouse. I seem to be in a bit of a theme here, but I think if you do look back, its runs have been quite solid. And again, at that $11 mark, it does take my fancy. The other one was Harlow Mist, but were probably not a race that I'm going to get too involved with. Quite an average field. Look, wouldn't be surprised if Zardozi does win. So if you do like the horse, please don't let me talk you out of it. I was probably looking for a little bit more value. So, Worm, how did you see this one?
Yeah, first look, I thought it's Zadozi's race to lose here. Great win last start. This field's nothing really putting their hand up to say they want to win this or go on to the Oaks. They're pretty much a nothing field. But Zadozi, barrier 10, probably going to be 3 wide, no cover, I've mapped. So it's going to have to be a JMax special here, but it might be just too good. I'm glad you mentioned Amazonian Lass. Went back to the jump outs and went really well. Don't let this horse get under your guard off its jump outs, because if it runs anywhere near that with Tim Clark on board rolling forward, I think it can run a very, very good race at around $13.
And good pronunciation, because Amazonian Lass, not Amazon Lass.
Yep. Race 6 is the Coolmore Stakes Group 1, 1,200 millions. Stallion making race as the richer get richer.
Will that be the case here? Look, really interesting race. You can't look at the 3-year-olds and go, how good are they? Worm, I did have Cylinder on top. I think it's the standout horse in this race. I think, look, Shinzo will definitely run well. King's Gambit came back and ran exceptionally well up in Sydney, so he's got a case. Our friend Mexico ran a place last up, ran exceptionally well. Again, won at odds. I do have Cylinder on top, and I've got it on top of one that I haven't mentioned, Osmosis. Now, we've been with Osmosis previously. Now, even though it did get beat by King's Gambit last start, I'm not jumping off just yet. This horse is third up, so is King's Gambit, mind you. But I think from barrier number 6, Rachel King down the straight will be much better suited. And I think Osmosis at that $13 price is going to be quite a compelling offer for me. So I think I've got Osmosis, but Cylinder is the best horse in the race, 460. Don't know whether that's the price I want to find out. So it may just be a single play with Osmosis. Worm, how did you see it?
Yeah, one thing I've grabbed, I think they're going to split in this race. I think there'll be an outside-inside division or even a middle to outside division. A lot of horses in this field, 19 to go round or straight. Yeah, they're not going to be sitting together. That's for sure. There's someone going to go to the inside. I don't know. Cracking addition. Shinzo, the whispers are out and it's working the house down, and it's Waller third up. It's a deadly play, this. Keep an eye on this horse. I think the market tells you the story here. It's around $6. If there's any money for this, I think you got to keep it on side. Why is Butch Cassidy $41, Matty? Finished alongside Cylinder last start. Sat on a hot tempo over 1,400. Stayed on really well. I think the last 50, it just had enough. Back to 1,200 meters, which I feel will suit better. I love that setup. Happy to play 2 horses here, Moravia and Butch Cassidy. I just think they're the massive overs of the race. No knock on Cylinder whatsoever. I think it's the one to beat. I'll be trying to take tries and exactors with Cylinder to win. I just can't get that first up out of its head where it wouldn't get on the Melbourne leg. 5th up, Godolphin. It's something I don't like looking at. I like them early in a prep. I'm going to be taking on any horse that's coming out of the Guineas, your V8s, your Shylight, and Sepati. I just don't like 1,600 back to 1,200 after 21 days. I think it's a shit setup. 2 horses here that have jumped out really well, and I think they've got to go in your multiples or your early, your quaddy, sorry. Osmosis and I Am Unstoppable both flew down the straight in a jump out. Keep them on side. I think they're going really, really well, but keen to play Butch Cassidy at $41. Race set.
Been down the straight before in the autumn and ran second. And if you have a look at it, it did come from kind of that midfield to finish second, only a length behind the winner, just in a listed race. But since it's come back, a third in a Group 3, fourth in a Group 2, and a fourth in Group 1 being the Golden Rose. So, mate, yeah, nice find there.
Yeah, well, beaten 0.9 first up, 0.4 second up, 0.6. Yeah, I just think it's at $41. I'm happy to have a little play on that. Yeah, just my opinion. If it wins, we're off to Sizzler, Matty. All right. Race 7, Vic Derby, 2,500 meters, Group 1. What a cracking edition this is, Matty. What do you think?
Look, honestly, this isn't my cup of tea. Just in terms of the way I do my form, I don't find much of an edge in a race like this. I've got the horses that everyone's got near the top: Aprilia, Vidad, Riff Rocket. Look, I've got questions about Aprilia. I think it's 3 races in 3 weeks for it. Vidad, look, definitely got claims. And Riff Rocket, I don't think Riff Rocket's that far ahead of those 2 other horses, but I don't know which one of these horses is going to be able to run out 2,500 metres. So I can't sit here and confidently give a tip in this race. The one I didn't mind at value was the ride that Opie Bossum has, Gold Bullion from Waterhouse Spot Stable. And it's around about the $34 mark at the moment. So look, a horse like that could be a very small play in this field. Worm, how did you see it?
Yeah, mate, this is one of the worst fields I've seen in Vic Derby history. Rick Roffett, no knock, deserves to be favourite. Flemington will suit better than Caulfield, but the bet I'm having out of this race is Vidad. I'm going to be laying it. I've heard it didn't eat up after Saturday. It's second in the Vars last week. Off a hot tempo, they went that fast. They would have been leading the Cox Plate by a long way. So concerning. You don't want to be going into a grand final coming off a hot tempo and not really eating your feed. So I'm going to lay this to place. Yeah, I just think I know this is horses grand final all along, but yeah, you just want that smooth preparation, no issues. And yeah, I know it's not the best field. And yep, I said Riff Rocket, $2.30. What do? This will either steamroll and start $1.70 or it could start $3.50. I don't know which way it is. I get this wrong every time, so don't follow me in with that, but I know it'll go either way. Interesting. Number 15 here, Warrior, 200 to 1. Now, I'm not saying it's going to win, but just go and watch its last start at Scone. This is a very, I'm going to be honest, a shit derby, right? It's coming out of Newcastle. No, it's coming out of Scone. That's right. I know that was a weaker field, but just its last 300, it had a turn of foot like a sprinter. I know they went slow up front, and that's what happens. But yeah, there was just something about this horse that, yeah, I can see why they've come to the Derby. I'm interested to see how it stacks up. It might be a real smallish play the place for me as a sicko bet, but yeah, just go and watch its last 300. It really was, I thought, a tick.
Well, can I get triple digits on Sacred Eagle, number 11?
Yeah, you can get 126s with Bet365.
Okay, we'll put $2 in it because it's probably the biggest outsider for mine.
Yeah, right. There we go. Quinella, Scared Eagle at 126s. Warralindi Warrior 200 to 1. That's a double booking for Sizzler. Race 8, the Empire Rose Group 1, 1,600. Matty, thoughts?
Yeah, good race. I really like this race. The way I saw it, there's a number of chances, but the 3 I landed on for the ones I want to follow into this race. I did have a tissue on top of Princess Grace. and then Barbie's Fox. I think for me, they're the three. A Tissue and Princess Grace around about that $6-7 mark at the moment, and then Barbie's Fox around about 20s. So, Worm, I think there are a number of chances in this race. So I probably wouldn't. I'd probably be going a little bit wider in the quaddy and including a few more. But I think a Tissue is going to get one of the best runs in this race across the 1600 metres. And Princess Grace, I would have had it on top, except jumping from barrier number 12. So that's how I saw this one, Worm. The Tissue, Princess Grace, and Barbie's Fox. Yourself?
Yeah, I'd like your thinking with a Tissue here, mate. His form is really stacking up. It's Espiona, first and second up. We know what he did last week. Fangirl, Mr. Brightside form. We know what he did last week. So I think it's coming out of the best form races, and $6.50 is a good price to find out. One thing I do know, and you can take this to the bank, they're going to set an almighty tempo here. Deny Knowledge, Pride of Jenny, Road to Ataki, Wishful Lass, Princess Grace, Alcohol Free. They're all going to want to push forward and find a nice spot. So I think they're going to break some records here up front. And, you know, they talk about you don't want to be too far off that speed. In saying that, I'm just going to lean to more secrets here. He's taking my eye, or she's taking my eye, sorry. First and second up, I think they've both been really good runs. I think they've been hidden runs for this. Been going really well. And if they can just sit that little bit closer midfield, because he was 7 lengths off him at the 400-meter mark, she made up good ground. I think if she can sit midfield, $29, it's a good price to find out. So more secrets for me, but yeah, a Tissue definitely going to go on top. Race 9 here, the Damien Oliver Group 2. Matty, this would be your race of the day, I reckon. 1400. Take it away.
Well, don't need to go too much further than horse number 1 with D. Oliver on board, do we? D. Oliver in the last at Flemington. Derby Day has a bit of a ring to it. Mate, I didn't have D. Oliver on top. I had Tamerlane on top, and I had Tamerlane on top of Moonamek. I think Moonamek's been racing quite well, and I think, again, around that $11 mark, definitely needs to be included into quaddies. The other one I didn't mind at some odds either was Corner Pocket. But in terms of my order there, Tamerlane on top of Moonamek and Corner Pocket.
Yeah. If you're a Omen better, you definitely got to back number 1 with D. Oliver on board. It'd be a fitting way to end the day. But I'm with you, Matty, here on Moonamek. I really like this horse's jump out. It's jumped out really well. Blake Shin goes on board. I love it when he goes on horses that I like. It'd either be screaming down the outside and winning, or what Blake Shin does, he loves putting horses into positions here. So if he can find a position from 18, oh, wow. This could be a good yell at $11. Colino, nice price at $9, $10, I think can go really well. Tamerlane, barrier 1. If the inside's okay, J-Mac goes on. Could be a fitting way to end as well. But yeah, came with Moonamek here at a nice price. Any final thoughts on the race day, Matty?
Look, I think punters would probably tell by listening to us we didn't land on too many of the same horses throughout the entire card. So, look, it's probably not your stock standard Derby day where there's a couple you could really dive quite deeply into. So remember that, and maybe a day where in some races you may need to have 2 or 3 bets and just pull back on the size of your bet. But yeah, it's definitely not the stock standard Derby day that we're used to.
No, definitely not, mate. It's a very good point you just said. Not our stock standard. If you've got a bank for the 4 days, and personally, I wouldn't be going too heavy or too large unless you really like something, because you could easily be breaking your bank here, and then you got 3 days of trying to play catch up instead. You just want to be treading away, and I'm just going to play it safe here and probably just have little bets just to try and pick something away, double figure odds. There's a lot of form lines that are just out there, in here, over there, and they're just not matching like they did on like Cox Plate Day. So I suggest just be careful. If you do like something, go after it. But there's a shitload of racing coming up, and there's 40 odd races. Just tread carefully. I think I've got to dive a bit more deeper into a lot of these races because, nothing stood out to me at the moment as a bet, but there's a lot of horses at double figures that have stepped out, that have taken my eye, which is scary. But it's a good card.
No, absolutely. And the Quaddy Leagues are definitely very good races. The Coolmore for me is definitely the pick of the card, and then followed by the Empire Rose. I think they're the two that definitely take the cake on the weekend at Flemington.
Yeah, 100%. So let us know your thoughts, what you're liking on the weekend in Flemington, day one. Around the grounds, Matty, where are you going?
Mate, we're going up to Sydney and we're going to go to the end of the card up there. There's a few shorties that I really like and think can get the job done. In race number 9, Canberra Legend. I think that Cleveland form will be form that can hold up here. It will definitely be in the finish, and I do expect it to win. Then race number 10, Way to the Stars. Look, this looks like one of the better bets in Sydney. Unfortunately, we need to wait till the last race, but I think it will be winning also. Worm, how did you see your around the grounds?
Yeah, 100% agree with you on Canberra Legend race 9, international first up. This price is probably short enough now, but this horse was 3 lengths off Desert Hero, who I feel would start around $12 in a Melbourne Cup. Now, Land Legend had some form lines around this horse before its first up victory in Sydney, who went on to beat Cleveland 2-3 weeks ago. Absolutely pissed in. So if you liked Land Legend 3 or 4 weeks ago, you've definitely got to go again with Canberra Legend here. I feel Canberra Legend is a better horse than Land Legend. Land Legend started around $4 in a harder field. Second was Cleveland. Well, we know what Cleveland did next start. With all that said, I think 280 is a price you can get involved at. Race 9, Canberra Legend. Golden Eagle, I've gone looking for something if they do find a soft track. I don't want to be Amelia's Jewel. I love her to bits and think she's a great horse. I know people are saying she's overrated, but it's 2-rack race. It was coming off a track record at Moonee Valley, 13 days into that. It was always going to be flat in my eyes. There's been talk of it having had a virus leading into it. I don't think they knew what happened with the horse. I think they're just trying to find an excuse, and that was what they've come up with. So I've gone looking outside of Amelia's Jewel, but I hope she wins. It'll be a great story. But I'm having something on Legato here. I've been mentioning this horse in previous podcasts about form lines leading into it. I've loved this horse's prep. We've known for a long, long time this horse's grand final has been the Golden Eagle. Amelia's Jewels, we don't know what its grand final was until after the Toorak. Well, that was 7 days after the Toorak. Legato, Aussie Guineas winner, and it had form around Prowess last prep at 1600. Now, we know what Prowess did last week. There's 1 to 15 mil to fall on Saturday between 9 and 1 p.m. If that rain does arrive closer to the 15 mil, I think we're going to be working on a soft track, and Legato loves it. $8, nice price to have something each way play on it to have a bet in the main race. Any thoughts in the Golden Eagle, Matty?
Yes, mate, I will be with our horse. That's right, our horse. I can't believe has not been mentioned. Hawaii 5-0, Nash on board. This horse will get the run of the race. And I think stepping up to the 1,500 metres is what it's been after. It's been running, aiming to get into the Everest, but we know it needs to get out to a little bit further. Punters, please make sure you put number 19, Vienna Princess, into your exotics and also quaddies as well.
Yeah. Hawaii 5-0. Gabe Waterhouse has come out and just said that this has been the horse's grand final all along. Typical. Baffled me, but I think 1,500 is going to suit this horse a hell of a lot better than the sprint races. We know what it did in the Winter Carnival, so 100% with you on that, Matty. A lot of dead wood in the race, but geez, there's some nice horses in it. Keep an eye on
Yeah.
Kovalika here, punters. I feel they're going to the Champion Stakes on the last day after this. So if you do like it, maybe have something on it in Champion Stakes instead.
And yeah, I don't like some of these wider gates that some of these horses, like your Kovalikas, have. I think it's definitely a barrier in this race.
Yep, 100%. Multi, Matty, what are you throwing in this weekend?
We'll throw in a couple down at Flemington. Race number 1, Kaiserzad the Place. And we'll go to race number 3, H2O. I think both of those can lob into a top 3 position for us.
Beautiful. And I'll throw in race 6, Butch Cassidy to place. So those three, KZ, HTO, and Butch Cassidy, all the place, $86.
Wow.
We might have to
There might be a
upgrade
few
from
joining us at
Sizzler.
Sizzler.
We're upgrading. If we lob this, we're upgrading from Sizzler to Pizza Hut in Bendigo, all you can eat.
I'm sure they've got the trots up there on Sunday.
Yeah, there'll be something for us to go see as long as we can hit the ice cream machine. I'll be stoked. All right, pineapple of the week, Matty. I'm very interested to see where you go here. Wishful Lass, good win. Where are we going?
All right, mate. Now, I can't direct anyone into a pineapple at Flemington, as we've just said. I think it's probably one to treat a little bit lightly, but I think there's some value to be found. So definitely enjoy the punt down at Flemington. Now, Worm, you thought I might have been going up to Sydney and may have been able to find one up there. It probably wasn't anything, again, that I really, really liked. As we said, I think Canberra Legend and Way to the Stars, they get it done. But Worm, there's one at just after 4 o'clock Melbourne time. Now, you may tell me to stay in my lane, and you may be able to tell me this next week, and I might have to do it. But for now, we are going across to Western. We are going across to Western Australia.
Oh,
Ascot.
right.
Race number 2. Melcar Pindari.
Right.
Now, I can get $2.10 for it right now.
Yep.
A little short, but Worm, I think it probably starts even shorter. So I have taken the $2.10, and I suggest that you take it too. So Melcar Pindari is what we're taking in race 2 at Ascot, because I want to hold on to this pineapple, Worm. And this is how I'm going to get it done.
Okay, I like it. Yeah, go and watch its last start. That was, you put me onto this, and wow, its last 400 was something I've very rarely seen. And 5th best 400, 5th best 200 home. So sectional data specialist, this horse, and then it just runs race rank that it's been in. Its last 8, 6, 4, 2 home of the last 3 starts have been the best of the race. So I like what you're putting down there, mate.
Thank you. Let's make sure we get that one done.
Yeah, 100%. So Melbourne Cup podcast, we're hoping to do it Sunday. We don't know what time yet, so stay close to socials. That'll be coming out runner by runner. And Matty will probably hold on to the pineapple, and he's got another job to do to find the pineapple on a very good card at Flemington on Cup Day. We know how easy Cup Day is, Matty.
Well, you know where it's going. Just going on to a first 4.
But no, any last thoughts, Matty? Cracking weekend.
It is. It is a cracking weekend. Really looking forward to 2 races, the Coolmore and also the Empire Rose in Melbourne. I think both of those 2 races are absolutely crackers.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Can't wait. I'm interested to see how punters go on the weekend. It's be interesting hearing some stories of how people are going to go leading into Cup Day. But yeah, as I said, stay close to socials on Sunday. We'll be doing our runner by runner preview of a cracking Melbourne Cup. Good luck, Matty. Well, I shouldn't say good luck. Go well, as always you do. Pineapple will salute, and we'll reassess on Sunday, buddy.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it, mate.
100%. Have a good weekend, punters. You know, have a cracking weekend. I'm lost for words. I can't wait to get stuck in. I'm going to leave before I say something I shouldn't. Have a cracking weekend, punters.